All right, hey everyone, I'm Jay. This is Taylor with Hurricane Hydroponics. We'd like to thank GrowGreen for putting on this awesome event, getting the community together, help educate everybody. Hopefully everybody will take a minute out of their day to thank this awesome staff and this community out here. I'd also like to thank everybody for taking the time out of your weekend to come out here and also sit in on this presentation. Today we're going to be discussing unlocking your garden's full genetic potential. Hopefully this is something we all strive for as growers out there. It's very important that we're providing clean, quality medicine to patients in need. We're going to start off with a couple of quick questions. If I could get a raise of hands, how many of you believe your garden is producing to its full potential currently? I'm going to raise my hand. I believe I have a number of varieties in my garden that are producing to their full potential. One in particular is my Jesus OG, which I've got up to 34.81%. I've had it tested at over 34%, 6 different times at 3 different labs. I do feel like I've reached the genetic potential with that strain. Next, I'm going to ask how many of you feel like you could be providing more to your garden. I'm going to raise my hand again because I have a number of strains in my room right now that I'm definitely not reaching the genetic potential with. Now, hopefully over time I will be able to reach the genetic potential, but it takes a number of key things, not just nutrients, but proper training, proper environment, proper dehumidification like Quest has over there for you. Being a caregiver in Michigan is kind of what brought Hurricane Hydroponics to the forefront. This is a picture of trophies we won last year in the state of Michigan, different competitions around the state. Little background about myself, I've been growing as a caregiver in Michigan for the last 10 years. Used a lot of different products on the market, enjoyed the results I was getting out, a lot of them, but I wanted to strive to be better. With that being said, we sought out Mr. Jim Turner. One of his famous quotes is, to be the best, you have to seek out the best. When he refers to that with Hurricane Hydroponics, he refers to using pharmaceutical grade elements to make all the products we make. We want to make sure we use the best elements that are the most plant available, most plant soluble, so we get the best results possible. A little background about Mr. Turner. He's created 43 different products in the turf, ornamental, and agricultural industries. If you take the 14 products he's created for Hurricane Hydroponics, that's 57 products he has on the market today across the world. When I refer to him as a world-renowned agronomist, that's because he's conducted trainings in over 30 different countries. He graduated from the University of Florida in both plant pathology and agronomy. He regularly consults with industry-leading experts on general practices for agricultural, and he is an expert in disease diagnosis, disease treatment, water repellency, and water movement. Everything starts with a healthy environment. Without a healthy environment, we will never reach our plant's genetic potential. At this time, I'm going to let Taylor take over and discuss a healthy environment.
Hey, how are y'all doing? I'm going to get out of that light in my face right now. So, to start off in a healthy environment, what we're really talking about is very good sanitation practices. You want to make sure that whenever you're starting off a crop, you want to have an absolutely clean and decontaminated room. So what this offers you is an insurance policy against passing over any pathogens, diseases, or any problems you may have had from the last crop. Now, proper sanitation is the #1 preventative for powdery and downy mildew. I'm going to say that again because I know PM is a huge problem. Proper sanitation is the biggest level of preventative treatment you can do for powdery and downy mildew. And it offers a clean and safe work environment for yourself. You know, a lot of times with using certain fertilizers, water systems, depending on your water quality, you can also have some algae concerns on floors and tables and benches and things of that nature. So also proper sanitation just provides a safe place for you to work at. We've kind of put together what we think some of our best practices are for sanitation. You want to be sure to soak all of your tools, pre and post use. You want to be able to sanitize all your tables, benches, any work surfaces you have. Make sure they're always staying clean, nothing's building up on them, that you're being conscious about wiping everything down. We will get to that in just a second, and no, we're actually suggesting not to use a bleach solution. You want to sanitize all your pots, all your cloning trays, anything else that a plant comes in contact with before you put them in there. One of the big things I've found from talking with people throughout this industry is the practice of reusing media. So if you're using a cocoa or a soilless mix or anything of that nature, that can hold so many pathogens, so many levels of bacteria that are not beneficial, and you can pass disease from crop to crop that way so easily. one thing that we suggest is doing a very heavy drench application if you are choosing to reuse your media. How we're going to do that is we have a product we offer called Selectricide. Selectricide is a 99.9% pure chlorine dioxide once activated. Chlorine dioxide is actually a gaseous liquid. It comes in a pouch. I'll be happy to show you all out at our booth or up at our product display within the store. You apply 2 liters of water into that, wait 2 hours for it to generate, and then you dose out depending on what sort of practice you want to use. This immediately dissipates off any surface you put it on once it kills bacteria, pathogens, diseases, algae, bio-slime, all of that within milliseconds. So really safe to use. You dose out exactly what you want for the practice you're doing. Selectricide is an EPA labeled, Armory listed, USDA organic and FDA approved product. So we really wanted to bring all of those certifications to the forefront in the cannabis industry because you deserve to be working with just as safe as products as everyone else is. So you can see up here, it fights off molds, mildews, fungus, bacteria, algae, bio-slime, pretty much you name it, we can kill it. Except for mites, you need to talk to another company for that, and Jay can refer you to someone. But the biggest thing is, since Selectricide is that chlorine dioxide product, I want to make it clear that this is not chlorine. These are two separate things. Chlorine itself is very corrosive. It will mess up your tools, it'll contaminate your hydroponic system, it will break stuff down fairly quickly. Selectricide, with having the chlorine dioxide constituent in it, does not do that. Another thing is chlorine only offers 1/200th of the level of decontamination that Selectricide offers. Also, I do have some additional research with me today that proves that bleach only bleaches algae, only bleaches out whatever it is, it turns it white so you don't see it. In addition, I do have some research on the uses of hydrogen peroxide versus chlorine dioxide as well. No problem. Happens to all of us. You must be a busy lady.
That's not bad.
So what I have up here is a photo. This is actually showing irrigation lines where we had some clear irrigation lines going on. So you can see right here in the middle of our control, this is a 22-day continuous injection. Continuous injection is one practice that we suggest for anyone who is using irrigation lines or hydroponic system. You can see even at 0.12 parts per million of continuous injection, how much cleaner that line is and algae-free. Do have some other pictures on preserving lives of fruits and vegetables with a dip and thing of that nature. If you want to see those, come and ask Tom, myself, or Jay. We'd be happy to show them to you. The next thing I want to talk about is more geared towards our soilless mix users and properly amending your soil with some elements that aren't so commonly used but give you huge benefits. The first one of that is soluble silicon. How many of you are currently using a form of soluble silicon in your garden? Have one. Yay! Oh, I have two. Yes. Awesome. So soluble silicon has been proven and recognized by AFCO, the American Association of Plant Food Control Officials, as a beneficial substance. Never really had this title before, even though back in the 70s you could walk out on like plots of land and tell where soluble silicon was put. What this offers you is a great defense for abiotic and biotic stresses. Soluble silicon also reduces the uptake of sodium. So if you are using a cocoa, you really should be adding soluble silicon into your mix because cocoa is loaded with salts. Also helps prevent metal toxicity. Another great thing about soluble silicon is since it is a great preventative measure for biotic stresses, you can help prevent your crop from getting powdery mildew. Another constituent that we like to add into our soilless mixes or top dress them, whichever way you prefer to work, are humic acid substances. Is anyone using humic acid? All right, I got 3. Going on up. So what humic acid can help you with in your garden is that it can actually bring down your ppms of your nutrient solution because you're not needing to use as much. Because humic acid helps with cation exchange capacity. It's also going to create and mimic an organic, almost composty type mix in your soil. The biggest thing, the reason why I personally love humic acids is because it mines available phosphorus. So I know I've heard some people talking about some phosphorus lockouts and things of that nature. It helps mine what's available already in there for you. So our product that we offer that has soluble silicon is Converge. It's a 28% calcium, 6% slow release magnesium, and 4.5% soluble silicon. This is a top dress or mix into your medium. It's 1 tablespoon per gallon container. Anytime you size up, you put in another tablespoon. Real simple and easy to use. The biggest thing with this is for silicon to work and help against those stresses, your plant has to go into stress to get it. And this is caused whenever you water it, 2 hydrogen ions go in, activates monosilicic acid, which is the only form of silicon that is fully plant available. So our Converge Core Strength product is the one that offers you that. And like I said, one of the biggest things, especially for cocoa users, is to definitely look into adding a soluble silicon into your routine, since cocoa does have such a high sodium content, so you really greatly reduce your risk of sodium toxicity. Our new Humic, WDG, just so you know, WDG stands for water dispersible granular, is our humic acid constituent. It's going to help provide all those benefits, create good colonies for your microbes to develop. We have found that a lot of people with using our humic acid kind of back away from adding in so many of the beneficial microbes or get rid of them completely. The one thing I want to make clear, even though we've discussed all these benefits, I get a big question. New Humic is not a traditional NPK fertilizer. It does just enhance what you're already doing. Both of these products are great to add in to whatever system you're currently using. But what's really cool here is, I'm going to have to walk over to this side, is I like to do science experiments on my kitchen counter. Anyone else do that, or am I just like a complete nerd? Right here we have 3 pictures. So the first one over here on your left is just a standard basic NPK fertilizer. It was actually a bag of 15, 15, 15. Nothing fancy, nothing special. The second one is the 15, 15, 15 with just Leonardite. Leonardite is where the best quality of humic is found. We've blended some fulvic acids into our humic source, so we're getting a lot more benefits that way. But you can see over here in the third picture, this was the NPK fertilizer and new humic. I mean, so the differences are night and day. That was all over 21 days is whenever I took that after picture. I'm passing this back over to Jay. We're going to get into some benefits you can see and creating the perfect flowering atmosphere.
All right, thank you, Taylor. Creating an optimal flowering atmosphere or environment. This is very important. It doesn't matter what nutrients we use on the market today. If our environment is not correct, we will never reach our plant's genetic potential. That includes a number of things from temperature to humidity to CO2 levels to whether or not we're using metal halide, high pressure sodium. We got to make sure we're using the right light at the right time during critical stages of plant development. Also at Hurricane Hydroponics, I've utilized potassium acetate in our formulas. This is not something you generally find in the market. What separates potassium acetate from other forms of potassium is that potassium acetate has been proven through a study at the University of Texas to be 38% more plant available than any other form of potassium on the market. Potassium, for us that don't know, plays a direct role in creating all our sugars, our carbohydrates, our amino acids, our proteins. Those all turn into our resin and our terpene production, which is exactly what we want to get. Potassium acetate is most prevalent in the Hurricane Hydroponic 3-part formula. It is also included in the Tropical Storm 3-part formula that we use during veg. It's just at a lower rate, as it's not as important during the vegetative stages. Sulfur, you absolutely need it. I'm going to repeat myself. Sulfur, you absolutely need it. Sulfur is very, very important to the plant. Your hydroponic system can only be as good as its weakest link. Sulfur is often overlooked in a lot of fertility programs. Sulfur is a molecular building block in a number of amino acids, proteins, metabolites, hormones, vitamins, and it serves as a catalyst to chlorophyll production. Without sulfur, we will never reach our plant's genetic potential. Sulfur is also immobile in the plant, so it is important that we supply sulfur during critical stages of plant development. There is one two key roles that sulfur plays. They create two amino acids that cannot be created without sulfur. Those two amino acids are called cytosine and methionine. Those two play a direct role in helping fight off abiotic and biotic stresses. It doesn't matter if we're the best gardener in the world, our plants are going to run into stresses. It's just inevitable. There's no way around it. We have to make sure we're getting sulfur into our mixes. Optimizing fruiting and budding. During the early stages of flowering and the late stages of flowering, it's very important that we add excessive levels of both phosphorus and potassium. During the early stages, by adding a little bit of excessive phosphorus and potassium, we can reduce the stretch we get out of plants. So if you have a genetic that stretches 3 times what it's used to, as when you flip it into flower, by adding a little bit extra phosphorus, we're going to give the plant enough energy to slow down that stretch, which is nice to keep a nice even canopy in the room. Now, it has been well established that phosphorus is the key to energy exchange in plants. Its main constituent is ATP, adenosine triphosphate molecule, which helps store and transport energy throughout the plant. We at Hurricane Hydroponics believe that the last 2 to 4 weeks of flower, we should start adding excessive levels of both phosphorus and potassium to reach the genetic potential of our plants. We have created a product just for this. State of Emergency is a product that can be used with any line of nutrients on the market. This is a 0-52-34 formula, 0% nitrogen, 52% phosphorus, 34% potassium. These are made with pharmaceutical grade ingredients. We use 1 teaspoon per 5 gallons of water. This is a very strong product that goes a very long way that you can use with any other line of nutrients, and you will definitely see results. We named the product State of Emergency because within weeks of adding this product, you have to make sure your stuff is trellised or staked up properly, or your branches will start to break. Let's go ahead and take a look at summary to unlocking plants' full potential. Proper sanitation using chlorine dioxide to prevent the transfer of pathogens is very important. We have to make sure we're providing clean medicine to the people that need it out there. Amending soilless mixes using available elements such as soluble silicon. This is going to help with both abiotic and biotic stress factors, along with helping transport nutrients through the plant easier. Amending soilless mixes with humic acid substances. We have both humic and fulvic acid in the new humic product. It helps with a number of things. Chelation, which helps break down other elements and make them more plant available. It helps with water movement. It helps with nutrient absorption, and it also increases microbial colonies. Now, microbial colonies are very important in substrates. Humic acid is like filet mignon to the microbes. They absolutely love it and they can't stop eating it, which helps make the colony stronger and bigger. Selecting a potassium acetate source for NPK fertilizers just allows for greater uptake of potassium and helps us create a better product in the end. Don't forget the sulfur. Do not let that be the missing link in your fertility programs. If you don't have sulfur in your products currently, go find yourself an amendment product that contains sulfur added in. You will 100% see results. It doesn't matter what brand you're using. Add a high phosphorus and potassium fertilizer at the end of flower to help unlock your plant's full genetic potential for yield and quality. We have to do that or we're never going to get the yield we want to get. We all want to get 2 pounds of light, 3 pounds of light. We got to make sure we're giving the plants what they need when they need it. At this time, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time out of their day to sit into this. We're going to go ahead and do a raffle over here and draw off who gets the free line of both veg and flower products. I also want to let you guys know we're offering a buy one, get one free on the Hurricane Hydroponics 3-part formula all weekend long. So 50% savings, we're offering that because we believe in these products, and if we can get them into your hands, you are going to see great results with them.
Anybody have any questions? Wait, did everyone fill out a raffle ticket? Whoever did not fill out a raffle
let's
ticket,
fill one
see
out.
Tom. Well, we're answering some questions.
Any questions? You got one, boss?
Not silica altogether.
Silica, I mean, it's best to cut it out probably around week 6. Yeah, it really doesn't matter. The plant only takes up silica as it needs it. So when the plant signals for itself to take up silica because it runs into abiotic or biotic stresses, that's when it takes the silica up. Now, once the silica is taken up into the plant, it remains in the leaf tissue until it's used. It's not something that just gets flushed out of the leaf tissue. It's not something that's harmful. Well, it's not something that's harmful to the end users either. Proper forms of silica are not harmful. Yeah. It's just, I mean, it's going to be...
You almost get those rubbery, you know what I mean? Nothing's going to penetrate, no bugs, no more, you know. You almost get that rubbery after a while. 5 mL a gallon 4 times a day, every day.
Yeah, that many times a day, every day, yeah. So you're giving it a little too much because the plant can only take up what it needs. It tends to store all the silica, the apoplastic root system inside there. So once you give it to it, it's going to actually store it until it signals to take it up. It's not an accumulator product, so the plant can't just absorb it unless it needs it.
Are you doing foliar applications of silica?
Now, I'll show you guys.
Okay,
after this.
sweet.
Yeah, awesome, man. Love to take a look at it. Any other questions out there?
Question about the disinfectant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sodium chlorine dioxide is what you recommend.
Yes.
So what's the source for that? Or just is it as is?
It is as is. It comes in a packet. I can show it to you once we're done over here. It's in a packet. It's in almost a tea bag. It's granulated that lets off a gaseous liquid once activated. But
Okay.
yeah, it's just 99% chlorine dioxide and whatever water source you have, as long as it's a pH of 2 to 10.
Okay. I was considering sodium chloride as a source for the same chlorine with two oxygen. So
Right.
it's different species than bleach, and much safer ones that could be used in drinking water.
Yeah.
Industry, for example. And I believe it is in some places.
Yes, that is. That's generally done like as a water treatment. The levels of sanitation aren't quite as high as a chlorine dioxide, but you're definitely better off than a bleach. Definitely better off than a hydrogen peroxide, but you're still not getting that full-blown disinfectant. Chlorine dioxide is actually what is used in like hospitals, emergency rooms, things of that nature to kill off all those pathogens. So think about having like an open heart patient laying on the table before you. You want to know that's clean. This is kind of where that whole basis of this sort of research of chlorine dioxide came in.
And this is your product, chlorine dioxide, correct?
Yes, selectricide.
One thing unique about this product too is it does ship dry. So you actually add the 2 liters of water to the product to activate it. Now once you activate it, it has about a 2-month shelf life, so that's why it does ship dry. It can also be used to treat the plants all the way to the day you harvest without leaving anything harmful behind. Chlorine dioxide reacts really fast, so within milliseconds of it hitting whatever you're putting it on, it's either doing its job or it's oxidizing with air. So it's a very fast reacting product, which means we could actually cut a branch down at the end of harvest that had powdery mildew on it, dip it in a bucket with chlorine dioxide in it, pull it out and hang it on a line. We're not going to change the cannabinoids, the terpene production. We're not going to leave anything harmful behind on the product at all. So it's a very interesting product.
Is it because it's volatilizing off very fast?
Very fast,
So
exactly
fast.
why. You know, it can't penetrate the plant and it can't penetrate our skin either. So by getting it directly on us, we cannot harm ourselves either.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
All right, let's draw this raffle then. Tom?
I got 2 more people.
Oh, okay, no problem, buddy.
Anyone else have any other questions?
We also have some free samples of the Converge, the state of emergency, and the new Humic out there. I implore you guys to come grab one of them, try them out. Let us know what you think of them. We're on Instagram, Facebook, all that fun stuff. All right, Taylor, you want to draw?